Maxim Rusu.
All right, guys, we are moving on to match number 6. You know, we've had several first-round finishes. We've had 2 fights go into the second round. Unfortunately, the doctor stopped that last one. But right now, we have Maxim Rusu making his way to the ring. He is out of Las Vegas, Nevada. This is a bantamweight matchup. And I tell you what, Ryder, last opponent, Ruben Bowers, out of Milestone Martial Arts. What can you tell me about Maxim coming into this fight?
I'm going to tell you one thing about Maxim. He is training with Michael Costa, and the other guy in his corner tonight, Josh Quinlan. Now, Josh Quinlan is a heavy UFC vet. He's a big killer. He might have beat me in the amateurs, and he's in his corner tonight, so I'm gonna go and say he's a killer.
when you have a guy, like you have a UFC vet in your corner, what does that do for your confidence, Brian? How do you think that fighter feels knowing that there's a UFC vet in my corner and he believes in me?
Well, something that you guys know this, iron sharpens iron, right? So I mean, like the guys he's got to be training with, they're learning from somebody who's been through the fire, who knows exactly what he can expect in a fight, been through any kind of situation, and he's pressing that upon you. And you know the guys that he's training with are definitely guys that are killers as well.
So Costa is a very Muay Thai technician. So having Costa as his coach, I'm going to go on a limb and say this guy's really good at Muay Thai, knows his stuff.
All right, let's get our next guy coming to the cage.
Demetri Clendinen.
All right, we have the opposition making his way to the ring right now. We have Demetri Clendinen, his hometown Orlando, Florida, but currently fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada. And, you know, I can always respect a guy that moves across the country to pursue his craft. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I moved to Las Vegas. So when I see someone moving from Orlando, Florida, coming all the way to Las Vegas to pursue their craft, I mean, it's such an incredible feat. Brian, what do you tell about his dedication to the sport when he makes such a big move like that?
You said it exactly. It tells you everything that you need to know about that person and what they are willing to do in order to pursue their career. You're going to a brave new world to go try to pursue fighting, but what better place to come to pursue fighting than the fight capital of the world, which is Las Vegas, with Tuff-N-Uff, future stars of MMA. I mean, there's no better amateur mixed martial arts promotion in all of the country. I said it on TV, I'll say it right now. Coming to Tuff-N-Uff to do this, he could have made a better choice.
And we talk about extremely involved MMA coaches. He is cornered by Dewey Cooper and Bubba Jenkins.
Legend.
And if you hadn't heard of Dewey Cooper and Bubba Jenkins, you are not a true MMA fan.
or boxing fan.
And to go off of that, Justin, I've also seen him the past couple of months in Extreme Couture wrestling. Excited to see what Demetri brings tonight.
All right, let's send up Justin Bernard for the the tail of the tape here. Brought to you by Cristiano Tequila. Demetri, 24 years old, Maxim 25. Demetri, 5'5", Maxim 5'4", 133 pounds versus 145 pounds. Both of these guys bring a 67-inch reach. Let's send it up to Justin Bernard for the official introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds in the Tuff-N-Uff Bantamweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. He's a mixed martial artist holding an amateur record, 1 win, 0 losses. He stands 5 feet 4 inches tall, weighing in at 135.6 pounds. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, Maxim the Molotov Rusu. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. He's a freestyle fighter, holding an amateur record, 3 wins, 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing in at 133.2 pounds. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, Demetri Clendinen. And when the action begins, your referee in charge, Matthew Beamick.
You know what? You got to give a shout out to the matchmaking with Tuff-N-Uff. I mean, every fight that we had so far matched guys that are similar in skill level, and you can tell these guys right here. I think this is going to be another great fight.
This will be a great fight right here. Excited to see how it plays out.
And here we go. A little tap of the gloves here. Both guys looking ready.
I mean, look at the way they both came out with their stand-up. They both look exactly like they know a little something of what they're doing in there, right?
Collected.
Beautiful leg kick. You know, someone like Bubba Jenkins, you know, in the corner of Demetri, you know this guy's going to be a good wrestler. Got these guys right in front of us. What do you think Demetri has to do to get out of this position, Ryder?
Demetri has to find an underhook. He starts working that underhook, use that underhook, jack it up, get to the other side, but Russo capitalizes on it, takes him down.
Nice trip, and then immediately gets, well, it looked like he was passing to get the half guard, but Demetri does a good job of getting guard, but he's doing what we like this guys to do, trying to get his heels on the hip.
Yes.
Yeah,
Demetri's doing something that the other guys weren't doing earlier. He's constantly moving on bottom.
Yeah.
He's not settling, land the advantage position. He's still moving. He's moving. But Russo doing a good job. That was a great right hand. Russo on top.
Comes up to the single leg here. Let's see what he can do with it. Watch the guillotine. Catches a guillotine.
That's tight.
Demetri.
That's tight.
He needs to get to his right hip
That's
here if he wants
tight.
to finish.
That's tight.
No arming.
He's gone. He's out.
Demetri's
He's out.
head out.
he's getting out. You see his eyes blinking right after he got out.
Yeah, that was tight. That was tight. But now we're in a position. The thing about the guillotine is when you go for the guillotine, if you don't get it, you normally end up in a bad position. Demetri taking full advantage of that.
That's Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, that's DP.
You see Demetri with his right hand around the waist. He's looking for that backside wrist ride, sitting here in half guard. One of my favorite positions. Notice he can't get it, but he's going to get that body lock and try to secure the takedown on Maxim real quick.
We're still doing a good job, though, working back to his feet. But as I said that, Demetri hits a nice little trip. But here goes Russo back up, Demetri back down.
Demetri said, hey, anytime you want to get up, come back downside and talk to me down here.
And that's taxing when you're on bottom. We have to constantly work up and get taken down. Work up, get down. That hurts you mentally a little bit. Close around the score, I don't know.
And now, from him Maxim going for that guillotine, essentially put himself on bottom and put Demetri on top. How do you score that round, Brian? Well, let's talk about after the commercial here. You're saying, Brian, very close round. Maxim goes for the guillotine and essentially puts himself on bottom. How do you score that round?
I think Demetri probably won that round. I think he had more control. But that round seemed like it was a 2-minute round, but it seemed like it went by in like a minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was quick.
These rounds go quick, not a lot of time to work. I'll give it to Demetri too, Brian.
Yeah, a little blood on the elbow of Maxim there in his left elbow.
Oh, nice right hand from Demetri.
Nice one, too.
Oh, nice jab from Demetri.
Yeah, beautiful jab, and the right hand follow. But how about Demetri tried to throw the left hook, but he missed it.
If I was Demetri, I'd be working off my jab more. You don't need to crash. Work off your jab. He gets on single leg.
See if he jumps that gilly again here. Could be a mistake if he does.
Yep, but...
like I know, some guys aren't susceptible to getting guillotine chokes, you know what I mean?
Ooh, Demetri fights for that hard kick. But
It's a little reversal.
It's in mount here. This is devastating for Demetri. Used all that energy for the takedown, but ends up on bottom with Maxim in mount.
That's a nice little reversal by Russo right there. Just used his hips, followed Demetri's hips, ended up on top. And full mount, too. That's that.
You see him sagging low to that low mount. I really like that low mount. I don't want to see him sit up because we're going to see the explosiveness of Demetri here. Brian, what do you think Maxim has to do to stay in this position?
One, he's leaking out of his nose pretty badly. It looked like he was trying to go for like a neck cranker. It looked like it was Islam Makhachev, one of those, the submission that he had on Charles Oliveira, but...
Right here, Demetri working back up to his feet. Now Demetri in on his feet, has a body lock on Russo.
Now, Ryder, let's talk about this grueling pace. Like, how do you think these fighters are responding? This wrestling, it seems slow to the casual fan, but this is an exhausting pace these guys are going at.
Brother, these are only 2-minute rounds, but I promise you, these 2 minutes while you're in there feel like 10.
Oh, like a lifetime.
Hey, yeah, you are, especially at this pace, the go, go, go. Now, Russo got the takedown. Looks like Demetri's working guillotine, but Russo's safe. He's on the right side. He's good.
But as you said, that guillotine might have
put him in bad position. Now Russo lands some heavy ground. If Russo lands some heavy ground and pound on Demetri.
Hurt here, referee.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous. We got short time.
Saved by the bell.
Saved by the bell.
That's the end of the round. Wow. That fight is not over. Wow.
That was a heck of a round.
Saved by the bell. They bring the stool in like we mentioned. I think they just forgot it last round.
I have it 1-1 going to round 3.
Yeah.
I think it's 1-1.
I wonder if...
And I I tell you what, I saw Demetri taking some big breaths on the stool, but he looks fresh. You know, he's ready to go, man. I think the score's 1-1. What do you think, Brian?
I would agree with that. Look at the damage that was done on the face, though, of Maxim in that last round, bleeding all over the place. But he definitely won that round in a big way. Almost got the stoppage. Oof. We're gonna see what happens in the round.
I call that the Babe Ruth swing. What a head kick! He could find himself in a triangle here. Oh, big hammer fist from the bottom. Has the triangle.
That is arm lock.
And he's landing some nice shots from bottom. Rusu is with that triangle position.
Rusu doing a great job. He's got the right arm trapped.
Yeah, Demetri's got to be careful here.
Yeah, I think the triangle's coming close because he can't get his right arm out of there.
Got to adjust his feet. He needs his right foot. Oh, Demetri passes, just muscles out of it. Very impressive by Demetri. Now it looks like he's on the back here. Let's see what he can do. Looking for that rear naked choke. Sinks one hook in, but he doesn't want to get high here, Ryder.
Nope.
As a collegiate wrestler, how easy is it to fall off the back here?
Once someone gets highs and you start swimming, reaching for that head, it's a great position to be in when you're on bottom once you get that sweep, per se. But with that being said, there's a minute left in this round. This is very important on who's going to win this fight right here.
Good call. Very good call. I think Demetri realized that, thinks that maybe he needs to stand up and try to earn himself a takedown.
With that being said, Demetri fell off the hip. Now Max got a little wizard. It's an advantage positions for Max right here.
See, I don't think he should have went to single leg. I think he had the arm around the hip. I think he just should have stood up and tried to get out. But let's see what he can do with the single leg. We only have 30 seconds left in this fight, and what an incredible.
What if he finished the takedown now? I'd hate to be a judge for this.
Yeah, this is a hard fight to judge.
Especially if he lands some punches right here.
If I was Demetri, you got short time, posture up, land 3 or 4 hard shots, cook the last 10 seconds. But Rusu doing a good job making them work, reaching for ankles, keeping them moving.
Tell Demetri's a wrestler, right? Because he's wrestling instead of fighting right now, unfortunately, because he really needs to try to drop some punches right here.
It's a good spot for Demetri, having the back, but now he's in a full body lock right here on the feet. Rusu hits a nice little sweep. Wow, with short time left, Rusu hits a little sweep, takes him down. It's a close fight to judge.
That was a great fight.
It's hard to say who won that fight, especially when you look at the judges panel over here. You have no idea who they're going to choose for such a close fight like this.
And look at them. They both gave all that they had.
Yeah.
Imagine a pro fight.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the replay here. We got Demetri Clendinen. Boom, look at this body lock. Gets that scoop. Easy. Love that scoop finish there. Passes right to mount. Beautiful ground and pound by Maxim. You got Demetri right here. And Maxim jumping for the guillotine. Boom. Beautiful jab by Demetri Clendinen, excuse me. Beautiful reversal here, man. What an action-packed fight. And approaching, our featured amateur title fight coming up. We're going on to match number 7. Match number 6 did not disappoint. What do you think, Ryder?
Man, I think all these fights have been electric. From the first fight to this fight now, and the rest of the fights the rest of the night. But right here, this is a very good fight as an amateur, man. High level, both guys, good striking, good grappling, good exchanges. I am glad I'm not a judge. I don't know.
Man.
And we look at Maxim. He's only 1-0 coming into this, Brian. What does that tell you about his training camp? What does that tell you about his team? What does that tell you about his coaching?
And his heart. I mean, the fact that first round looked like, he was somewhat getting dominated. I don't want to say getting dominated a little bit, but I mean, Demetri was taking him down and he was controlling the action. He cut him. His nose was bleeding and everything else. He came back in those last 2 rounds and fought his butt off. That's why Justin takes so long to get inside the cage, because they have no idea. I could see this being a draw.
Yeah, no, this is a great fight. I could see a draw, Brian. I really could. Very hard fight to score.
Got Justin Bernard making his way to the cage after some discussions by the panel. Both guys are really nervous. Both guys think they won the fight.
Yeah.
Let's see what the judges think, though, Brian. I mean, it doesn't really matter what we think. It doesn't matter what they think. It matters what the judges think.
This is true. This is true.
All right, let's send it up to Justin Bernard for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. Judge Lyman scores it 29-28, Clendinen. Judge Bird scores it 30-29, Rusu. And Judge Linton Felter scores it 29-28 for the winner by split decision, Maxim, the Molotov Rusu.
Great fight right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Maxim ends up getting the decision. He gets the nudge. Now he moves to 2-0.
Yeah, that was interesting scoring, but hey, I mean,
I've never heard, Brian, and you've been a professional sports analyst for 10 years. I've never heard a score 30-29.
Yeah, that was.
I have never heard that.
That was Adelaide Bird that scored a 30-29. I don't really understand that logic, but that's fine. That's why that's her job, and this is my job.
Somebody got a 10-8 round there somewhere.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, maybe the round that the fight was it was stopped by the bell, but it was closer and stopped.
True. Okay. Either way, that was a great fight, and that's just a little prequel of what's in store for the pro fights tonight.
The pro fights tonight, Ernesto Rodriguez and Mahmoud Sabaya. I cannot wait for that.
Banger.
That's a fight that is worthy of being in the UFC.
I think whoever wins that fight's going to get a UFC contract tonight, 100%. That's a high-level MMA fight right there. Both guys on winning streaks will be very fun.